Our scene opens um, on this evening of February 13th. It's a Friday evening. The snow is once again falling. Not hard at the moment, not when Stefan leaves his small apartment. His small package tucked under his arm, carefully packed in a small box to keep it safe on his trip. Um, by foot, by cab, by ferry to the island he was told that Elysium is held on. He, as he completes his journey down the stairway, or no, as he completes his preparations to leave his apartment, his mind goes back to the firearm. At one point, recognizable only to trained eyes as Cherie's personal firearm. He's taken the first steps he needs, but he couldn't do any more. Not with such an important event taking place. He carefully looks around in his apartment. Something tells him, something he hears. He feels as though he goes over to where he put the gun, the drawer that he put the gun in, and he looks for other places. He knows his windows are blacked out completely. There's no room for even sunlight to get into his small haven. He knows he's safe. His doors are locked. He's not paranoid. He's just concerned. He wants to be thorough. He searches and searches and makes sure to find the best hiding place. Where would it be? Where would it be? And something occurs to him. Yes, yes, of course. Of course. That's where he'll put it. Yes, yes. He places it in the location that comes to him. And
Are you Dave? If that's correct, can you say something?
as he places the firearm, he's distracted. What was that? He's never heard such. He's never heard such blatant voices. He's not ever since. He pauses for a moment, trying to take it all in. The imagery, the sounds, the ominous music he senses in his very psyche, his own mind. It's just as disturbing yet wonderfully insightful and orgasmic. It makes every fiber of his being tingle. But he's frightened as well. Not knowing what to make of it, he keeps it in the back of his mind. He makes that note. He bookmarks that page. He highlights the sentence, if there is a sentence. places the gun carefully. He hides it. He knows this is safe. He instinctually he knows that where he's putting it is it's not going to be found except by him. Only he knows. He's very certain. He goes to leave his apartment. Grabs his coat, makes sure that he has his package after putting the garment on and bundling up. It is cold. It is snowy, and though his appearance is pale most of the time, his flesh is cold most of the time, as it is tonight. He has to keep at least appearances. Bundling up, even grabbing a scarf he had forgotten he had. And realizing that one of his pairs of coveralls are missing. He doesn't recall where they might have went. Perhaps he will ask Victoria. Yes, Miss Victoria. It's got to be Victoria. He thinks to himself. Grabs the package, walks out his door onto a stoop, closes it behind him, locks the deadbolts and the lock on the door handle, making sure that it's secure. Heads down the stairway and around the corner. He catches a glimpse of a torn piece of newspaper in the doorway, or in the door of the box, the paper box, in front of the diner he lives above. It's front page, but it's torn. From what he can make out, there was a murder last night. What? He knows he's not imagining things. Or is he? No, he's not delusional. He knows he's not delusional. He continues walking down the street, trying to look for a cab. It's fairly busy, even given the snow. Especially given the snow, it's not easy to find a cab in this particular part of the neighborhood, of the downtown area. So he continues walking a little bit. And after a few blocks, he sees he comes across another newspaper box. At this time, he sees a last copy. Pulling out the coins, he places them in, pulls on the door, and grabs the very last paper from the door. Reads the headline. There was a police officer killed last night. He reads a bit. There's an extended article on a further page. Page 11A. Or is it 8A? No, it's 8A. He doesn't bother to go that far yet. Just seeing what's on the first page. He catches the description that it's too ominous. He begins to worry a little bit. He's uncertain. He folds the paper up, places it into the deep pocket of his of his warm coat and hails a cab. This time he's able to finally find one. He hops into the cab, tells the driver that he needs to go to the Wolf Island ferry. He believes he's sure he's remembering correctly. At least he believes he's sure he's remembering correctly. The driver begins. The driver takes off across town. Stefan remembers. Oh, no. Ford Lake. He needs to take the ferry, or he needs to go to the ferry that will take him across Ford Lake to a historic building of sorts. The cab driver mentions. He without a problem turns around and heads in that direction. After a while, he arrives at his destination. The ferry has just pulled back to the mainland shore. He grabs $20, $25. He grabs from his pocket, without paying attention to the total. He just says, "Keep the change." The cab driver smiles at him and thanks Stefan. Apparently, his night is made a bit on this trip. He walks up to the ferry building, buys a ticket, and within moments, he boards the ferry, heading to Elysium.